There is a kind of journey humanity has never taken before, one that stretches beyond anything we instinctively understand about travel, because it is not defined by a single lifetime. It is a journey where the people who begin it will never see its end, and the ones who arrive will only know Earth as a distant origin story. This is the concept of a generational ship, a self-sustaining world built to cross the vast distance to the Alpha Centauri system, the closest stellar neighbor to our own, sitting just over 4 light-years away. To attempt such a mission with technology that is either available today or realistically achievable in the future, humanity would not rely on extreme speed alone, but on continuity. The ship would be enormous, not in the sense of a large vehicle, but in the sense of a contained civilization. It would likely be constructed in space, assembled from asteroid-mined materials, designed as a rotating habitat several kilometers long. The rotation would not be for aesthetics, but for survival. By spinning slowly, the structure would generate artificial gravity along its inner surface, allowing people to live, walk, and function in an environment that closely mimics Earth's gravity. Inside, the interior would not feel like the inside of a machine. It would feel like a curved world, with agricultural zones, water systems, residential areas, and shared communal spaces forming a continuous living environment. Looking upward would not reveal open sky, but the opposite side of the habitat, where another landscape stretches across the arc of the structure. The population of such a ship would need to be carefully calculated to avoid the genetic risks of inbreeding over many generations. Current research suggests that a few thousand individuals, perhaps between 1,000 and 5,000, would provide enough genetic diversity to sustain a healthy population over centuries. This would be reinforced by cryogenic genetic banks containing preserved embryos, sperm, and eggs, allowing future generations to expand genetic variation when needed. Reproduction would not be left entirely to chance. Advanced genetic screening systems would quietly guide pairings, ensuring long-term population health without stripping individuals of autonomy. The goal would not be control, but preservation. Children born on the ship would grow up in a reality completely different from that of their ancestors. Earth would not be something they remember, it would be something they learn about. Their education would go far beyond traditional schooling. Every individual would need to understand the systems that sustain life on the ship, because ignorance could become a threat to survival. They would learn how ecosystems are maintained, how machines are repaired, how food is grown, and how to respond to emergencies. Over time, culture would shift. New traditions would form, shaped not by geography, but by the shared experience of living inside a moving world. Identity itself might evolve, as future generations begin to see themselves not as people traveling from Earth, but as citizens of the vessel itself. Food production would be continuous and entirely self-contained. There would be no reliance on stored supplies, because nothing can be stored for centuries without degradation. Instead, the ship would function as a closed-loop ecological system. Crops would be grown using hydroponic and aeroponic methods, maximizing efficiency while minimizing resource use. Algae would play a central role, producing oxygen while also serving as a nutrient-rich food source. Water would be recycled with extreme precision, captured from every possible source, purified, and reused endlessly. Waste would not exist in the traditional sense. Every output from human activity, from organic waste to plant residue, would be processed and returned to the system as input for something else. The idea of throwing something away would disappear entirely, because in the isolation of interstellar space, there is no away. Healthcare would need to be advanced, adaptable, and fully self-sufficient. The ship would carry medical facilities capable of handling everything from routine care to complex surgeries. Artificial intelligence would assist in diagnostics, identifying conditions early and recommending treatments with a level of precision that surpasses current capabilities. Genetic medicine could be used not only to treat illness, but to prevent hereditary diseases from spreading through the population. However, one of the greatest challenges would not be physical health, but psychological well-being. Living in a closed environment for an entire lifetime with no possibility of leaving requires a level of mental resilience that must be cultivated from birth. The culture of the ship would need to emphasize purpose, cooperation, and long-term thinking, ensuring that individuals feel connected not just to their immediate lives, but to the larger mission. The external environment of space presents constant threats. Though it appears empty, it contains countless microscopic particles traveling at high speeds. When the ship itself is moving at a significant fraction of the speed of light, even the smallest particle can cause damage. To protect against this, the ship would be equipped with layered shielding systems designed to absorb and disperse impacts. These shields would break apart incoming particles before they can penetrate the inner hull. Beneath them, additional layers would provide redundancy, ensuring that no single failure leads to catastrophe. The ship would also be equipped with autonomous repair systems. Robotic units would continuously scan the exterior, identifying damage and repairing it in real time. Advanced materials capable of sealing themselves when punctured would further enhance the ship's ability to withstand the hazards of interstellar travel. Propulsion remains one of the most complex aspects of the mission, but within the realm of future feasibility, nuclear fusion stands out as a leading candidate. Fusion engines would generate enormous energy by combining light atomic nuclei, producing sustained thrust over long periods. The ship would accelerate gradually, possibly over decades, building up speed until it reaches a fraction of the speed of light. After this initial phase, it would coast silently through space for generations before initiating a similarly long deceleration as it approaches its destination. This slow, steady approach avoids the need for extreme fuel consumption while maintaining a trajectory that can ultimately be controlled. Gravity within the ship would be created through rotation, allowing inhabitants to live in conditions similar to those on Earth. This is critical because long-term exposure to weightlessness leads to severe health issues, including bone density loss and muscle atrophy. By maintaining artificial gravity, the ship ensures that its population remains physically capable over multiple generations. Different sections of the ship could even have varying gravity levels, allowing for specialized activities or research. A functioning society within such a confined environment requires a carefully balanced system of governance and justice. Traditional models of punishment, such as long-term imprisonment, may not be viable in a system where every individual contributes to the survival of the whole. Instead, the justice system would likely focus on maintaining stability and reintegrating individuals into society whenever possible. Severe offenses would still need to be addressed, but the emphasis would be on preserving the integrity of the community rather than isolating large portions of it. Social contracts would be deeply ingrained, and the understanding that every action affects everyone else would shape behavior in profound ways. Life aboard the ship would impose limitations that are difficult to fully grasp from an Earth-based perspective. There would be no vast wilderness to explore, no oceans stretching beyond the horizon, no excess of resources to be consumed without consequence. Every aspect of life would be regulated by necessity. Population growth would need to be controlled. Resource use would need to be optimized. Certain lifestyles defined by excess or waste would simply not be possible. Yet within these constraints, humanity would still find ways to express creativity, build relationships, and create meaning. Art, music, storytelling, and shared experiences would continue to define what it means to be human, even in the most controlled environment imaginable. Over time, the ship itself would become more than just a vessel. It would become a living system, a culture, a legacy passed from one generation to the next. The original purpose of the mission might evolve in the minds of those born on board. For them, the journey is not a temporary state, but a permanent reality. The idea of arriving at another star system may feel less like the end of a mission and more like the beginning of something entirely new. When the descendants of the original crew finally approach the Alpha Centauri system, they will not be the same people who left Earth, either physically or culturally. They will carry with them the accumulated knowledge, discipline, and resilience of generations who lived and died within the confines of a moving world. The success of the mission will not depend on any single innovation or decision, but on the ability of humanity to sustain itself, adapt, and remain unified over a span of time that exceeds individual experience. A generational ship is not simply a technological challenge. It is a test of whether humanity can create a system that outlasts its creators. A civilization designed not for immediate reward, but for distant arrival. It asks whether we can build something that continues forward, even when those who began it are gone. And in that sense, the journey to Alpha Centauri is not just about reaching another star. It is about discovering whether humanity can truly endure beyond the limits of a single lifetime. If you found this video useful, please subscribe to help keep the channel up for more deep dive explanations like this. Like this video to help it reach others, and comment to help shape what we explore next. Thank you.